Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. This is a snippet strip that I just recently completed, and I had someone request that I do a tutorial on how I did this. So I'm just gonna, I'm at my sewing machine today, so the exposure is going to be completely different, and I apologize. I hope you can see that. But I just put a snippet strip together, and I added little dangles. I added some flowers and some beads and some sari silk, and here's another little dangle hanging right in here. And so, oh, and then right at the end, I've got a little key hanging there. So I'm going to try to show you how I made these. I'm starting with a strip of fabric. Now this strip is a little bit narrower than what I just made, but I like it because it's something I already have and I just wanted to use it. And what I do is I like to ruffle my pages. I like to ruffle my fabric as I go along. So I am just on a regular stitch and I'm just making ruffles. It's kind of a long stitch. Now you can do this as you go along if you want to, but it's a little bit easier when you've already got your ruffles made. Don't worry about them going straight. Don't worry about them being the same size. This is for junk journals, so you want a little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's no rules really. We're just having fun. And this will be cut into pieces to be used as a junk journal embellishment. So now we have one strip that has the ruffles in it. So now we don't have to worry about ruffles anymore. Let me put it over here. Maybe you can see that a little bit better. The light on my machine is very bright. Okay, so once I got my ruffles in place, now I'm going to start adding some frou-frou stuff. And I just have to decide, do I want lace down the middle, which is kind of pretty, but I don't want to overdo it. So I think I'm just going to cut some pieces. Now, like I said, you can do anything you want to. It doesn't have to be lace. You can use it in any way you want to. And I'm just going to stick a little bit of lace here and there. And let's see, I might have one about there. Might have one about here. And before I stitch that down, I'm going to add some fibers, which I could do this at, one at a time, but, why do it one at a time when you can go ahead and stitch a few pieces at one time? So here's what I'm doing. I've got my lace going, and I've got some fibers going, and I'm just stitching right down the middle. Now notice this one, I looped it over. It doesn't matter. Loop it this way, loop it that way. Just have fun with it. I love this yarn. It's real soft and fuzzy, and it has the eyelash pieces on it too. All right, I cut myself one more piece of lace to go right there, and then I'm just going to kind of try to make it as not uniform. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Try not to make a pattern. You want it just to be all ski-watchy, if that works for you. Okay, now look what we have already. See, we're getting there. We're already that far ahead. Okay, then I think I would probably take some eyelash. This is eyelash yarn, and it's just because I like a lot of frou-frou stuff. I'm real particular to my frou-frou. I like things that, I'm not going to overdo it because this is a skinny strip, but I am going to put that little bit of eyelash right down the middle. Now, before I stitch it down, I'm going to take this little scrap of sari silk, and I'm just going to cut a piece, not even 2 inches. Let me get over here so you can see what I'm doing. It's just a little piece, and all I did is twist it a couple of times. It makes it look like it's a little bow, even though it's just a twist. And then I'm going to stitch it wherever I want it, and I'm catching that eyelash trim at the same time. Okay, so here's another little piece of sari silk. Just twisted it a couple of times and just decide where I want it, and then I just stitch. You can do this with zigzag too, but zigzag would catch all those little fibers and it would pull them in, and I don't want it to. I want them to stay out. So when I'm using the fibers, I don't do zigzag. I just do a straight stitch. All right, so there's another little piece of sari, and I'm just going to stitch right over it. These are fun to make, and if you've got all your supplies out and you're ready to go, it really doesn't take that long to do them. All right, let's see, and I'm just kind of deciding where I want the next one to go. Here's this one. And let's put one more on the end, like so. Okay, good deal. Now, so here's what we've got so far. We've got a beautiful strip. It's got some sari pieces in it. I mean, it's pretty as it is, but now we're going to finish decorating it. So that's about all I would do on the machine. The rest we're going to do with glue. One more thing before I get to the glue, I've got these selvages, these guys that you cut off the edges of your fabric. I've got these selvage edges, and I decided I'm going to go through here and I'm going to make some little selvage twists, because this has a little bit of burgundy on the edges, and I wanted to add in some pinks. I wanted a little bit of color in this one. So I'm just taking, just like I did my sari, and I just twist it twice. And let's see, we'll put this one down here on the end. There we go. Okay, now to the hot glue. I've chosen these flowers right here. These are paper flowers that I have made, and these are what I want to use for my strips. So I am just going to look at my strip and just kind of decide that one looks like it might be good right there. See, there's a hole for it right there. It just kind of happened that way. I didn't do that on purpose. Now, behind that, I'm going to take some of this eyelash yarn, and I'm going to wrap it around my fingers a couple of times, and I just make a loop. Just don't make it perfect. Just make a loop. Stick it in that hole, and then I am going to hot glue. Let me get my glue gun over here. I'm just going to hot glue this flower onto the back, and it's going to hold down that eyelash yarn. It's going to hold it down, hold it in place for us while holding the flower down. Okay, now let's see, where do we want the other flower? I think right there looks like a good place. So I'm going to do the same thing. Now, this eyelash yarn, you can use cream, brown, I mean, anything that matches. I just happen to have this. It's kind of a beigey color, and it's one of my faves. That's another flower that I made from a dye, and I inked it. So it's got dye and ink on it. And then I've got one little bitty guy. I think he needs to go right there. So we'll give him a little bit of frou-frou too. Why not? So I'm just taking a little tiny smidge of that stuff, of the eyelash yarn, and I'm going to stick that flower. Now, this is a paper flower that I did, and on the inside I put some not stick, well, stickles will work, any kind of glitter glue, any kind of thing, and I dropped some seed beads down inside of that. Now look what we've got. It's already gorgeous. Guys, look at that. I hope you can see that. I hope I'm doing a halfway good job of showing you. Again, you could leave it as is if you want to, but I like to add a little more. So I've got flat back pearls, and I'm just going to stick one here and there and wherever I think it might look good. This place right here looks like it needs a little something. So, and you can use any glue. I use hot glue because it's quick and it sticks, and I don't have a whole lot of time to wait for glue to dry. Okay, so I'm going to put that right there. And then, now this is totally optional. You don't have to do this, but I like to take some tulle, wedding tulle, or, just, it's Tulle tulle, and I cut little bitty pieces. The one I've got here is pale pink. I doubt you'll be able to see that color. It doesn't matter. And I just cut some strips, okay? I just cut some strips of tulle, and then I take my fingers and I just gather it up. And again, I twist and I twist. So it looks like a little bow. Okay, so I just gathered it up and I twisted it, and then I looked for holes. Not really holes, but you know what I mean. I looked for an area that needs a little bitty something something, and that one does. So, and then I fluff that up. This adds so much to your snippet strips. It makes them look full and not be, real empty or whatever looking. So here's another little piece of tulle. Again, I'm just going to gather it up. It's not cut straight. It's not any certain size. Doesn't matter. I just twisted like this. Okay. And look at there. See that hole right there? Let's put this one right there. So we're going to, and what I'm doing, I put a dot of glue so that the glue would hold the twist, but I don't want the glue to hold the whole thing down. I don't want it to glue down the edges. I want it just to hold the twist. So I just glued it in the middle, so the rest of it fluffs. Okay, let's see what else we got. Here's another piece. I think we probably need one more. You can add as many of these as you want to, okay? I just gathered it up just any old way, okay? Don't worry with a needle and thread. You don't need to. Just take your fingers and gather. I apologize. I have a tendency to go fast. And gather it up and twist it. And we're going to find one more little hole. There's a good one right there. And we're going to stick that twist part just in the middle down into the glue. There we go. And let it dry. See, that's why I like hot glue. Okay. Oh my gosh. This is going to be one of my faves. I'm loving it. Now, the next thing I like to do is start adding some bling. I've got this cute little tassel. I thought it was precious. So we are going to add some bling. I'm going to take some bulb pins. If you're not familiar with them, they look like this. I got a set of these at Amazon, maybe. I think it was Amazon or Wish. I'm not sure. But that's what they look like. It's just a bulb pin, garment pin, bulb pin, same thing. Okay, so I'm going to take one of those, and then I have these beautiful beads. I bought this at Hobby Lobby with a coupon. They're rocailles, so they're large seed beads. But what I do is I take my bulb pin, and then I look at my color scheme. I'm kind of doing some pinks here, and I put on rocailles. You don't have to fight to see if the hole is big enough. They're always big enough. So that's why I like to use them. So I'm going to put on a couple of beads. Then I'm going to string on my tassel. And then I'm going to add a couple of more beads. But like I said, this part's optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. That's just how I like to do mine. I like to add beads anywhere possible. And of course, I'm struggling with that one. All right, let's try again. There we go. All right, and then I'm going to hang this little tassel right in here with that bulb pin. Of course, you can't see what I'm doing, can you? Because I'm way over here. All right, so I just stuck that pin right there into the end of that, of the snippet strip, and we're just going to let that cooperate with me. We're going to let that little tassel hang there. So pretty. I also have this little beaded dangle that I thought would be so pretty in there. So for that one, I'm going to match the bulb pin. Not that you have to. You don't have to. But I'm going to just put, this time, let's see, last time I did pink and brown. I'm going to do cream and brown this time. And you can do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can do as many as you want to. I just did 2, just for the sake of time. Normally, I would probably add 3 to 5 beads on there, but just so you don't have to sit there and watch me thread on beads all day, that could get boring for you. Okay, so here's my little beaded dangle. Now I got to figure out, where do I want to put it? Probably right in here. So all I'm going to do, I'm going all the way through the background. There's my, close my pin up and let it dangle. So see, there's a beautiful dangle. There's a beautiful dangle. I've got one more, but I think that's enough. I think that would be overkill. Sometimes I put a key on a bulb pin and hang a key in there somewhere, but this guy's kind of small. Although I could put it right there, but I think it's just going to be a little bit too much. Now, just looking at that, I would say it is really, really pretty. I'm very happy with it. But there's a spot right there that just needs a little something, something. So let's find something to go there. Okay, so I found this little envelope that I had made before. And so all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to ink it up. I'm going to make it look a little distressed. Inking that up just a little bit, and I think I'm going to stick it right in there. And I'm debating if I want to close it or leave it open. I don't know. I can decide that later, and I think I will go get a little card, make a little miniature card, and put it in there. I think that would be precious. So we're going to stick that right there. And like I said, you can go get a card and put it in there if you want to. I'm going to kind of leave it hanging open. There we go. So there's a beautiful snippet strip. Very easy, guys. Give it a try. There are no rules. You don't have to have any particular supplies other than fabric, paper, and some eyelash yarn. And then you can make your flowers and everything. So have fun with it, guys, and thanks for watching. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.